Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are back with some Clash Royale. Now, folks, today the balance update has been announced. It is coming on April 1st, but we are going to discuss today what the changes are, give you some insight on my feelings about the changes, what I've seen people express online, and then maybe some predictions of what the meta could possibly look like going forward. So enough with all that, folks. Drop that intro and let's get into it. Alright, so here's the balance updates, folks. We're going to start right off with the Witch. The Witch is getting a buff. It's going to spawn 3 skeletons when destroyed. Now, that is very surprising to me because I expected the Witch to get a nerf. Because right now, a max Witch requires a fireball and a log to be eliminated, which is crazy, right? Because you're going to lose 1 elixir on that trade-off, but I have not seen better options to get rid of her unless I have an opportunity to have my knight or, you know, one of those melee units to be able to attack directly upon her crossing the bridge. But even so, that's going to be attention you're going to take away from the tank that's in front of the Witch or other units that are protected from behind. So nonetheless, Witch is getting a buff. I don't agree with it. I think it's kind of controversial, but the reasoning behind it is that the Witch is only heavily present between 4,000 and 5,000 trophies in the current ladder. And then after that, she doesn't really see much of a usage rate. You know, with that reasoning in mind, kind of goes back to my last balance changes video. You know, who's this update for? Because there's a lot of players being left in limbo. You know, 4,000 to 5,000 is a sweet spot for Clash Royale. And all the changes that are taking place are really impacting those players. It's making it hard to make that leap to the next, you know, phase of the game. But I digressed a little bit. Let's get into the rest of the changes. And believe me, folks, we're going to go right back to that combo. Now, the next is the flying machine. The hit speed's being reduced from 1 second to 1.1 second. I mean, I understand why it's happening because of the recent uptick in the Golem decks along with the famous Lava Hound clone deck. But I think the flying machine was fine the way it was. It can be one shot with a fireball. So, you know, there is a counter for it. But, you know, in order to, I guess, slightly nerf that Lava Hound clone deck, they had to make a change. And they decided to do it with the flying machine. The next is the Ram Rider. And you guys know the Ram Rider has become my favorite legendary over the last couple months. I've pumped out 4 different decks for the Ram Rider. And it is the deck that everybody likes to watch. So the Ram Rider getting this nerf is understood. I think this was a little drastic. So the snare movement reduction is going from 100% to 85%. Now, usually when a big change to a mechanic is done, there's usually like a buff to like a certain stat, like maybe the attack speed increase, slight buff to HP. But in the case here, she's getting a nerf. And this is going to affect the value of the Ram Rider. The Ram Rider was in a very sweet spot. 5 elixir, did a very good job in a lot of decks, but I don't think she was OP. She really wasn't. So let's see how this plays out. Next up is another controversial change, the Giant Skeleton. The Giant Skeleton has been such a huge piece inside of anti-meta decks. And this has been going on for a long time. So I know it's not a meta card, but man, it's in every anti-meta deck. So is it meta? Right? One can argue that for sure. So for it getting a buff, it's going to be crazy. It is going to be meta. Like, I just answered my own question. You know, so the Giant Skeleton, first attack faster from 0.5 seconds to 0.3. And the mass is increasing from 15 to 18, which is going to make it harder to move or push. That's going to be a huge change right there. Next up is a nerf to the Bandit. I mean, I understand bridge spam has been prevalent for a long time. But, I mean, the Bandit could be easily countered with the Tombstone. If you got the 1 elixir skellies, it slows it down. You know, there's a lot of counters to the Bandit. The Knight could counter against her. But she's getting a hit point reduction. So it's going down 4%. Now, for a troop that doesn't have a lot of HP, that's kind of a lot. So that's going to be a big difference because when she goes across that bridge and goes invisible, you know, there's points where she has like no life left and can get a hit on a tower. those scenarios aren't going to reoccur. And then last but not least is the Goblin Hut. The Goblin Hut is getting a buff. The spawn speed is increasing from 4.75 seconds to 4 seconds, which means there's going to be an extra goblin coming out. I believe it's going to be 12 spirit goblins in total. Now, the reason behind this was it's supposed to be a counter to the Lava Hound clone deck and the Lava Hounds, period. I don't know if that was necessarily enough. I mean, it is the Goblin Hut. I mean, it's going to redirect the attention from the card, but once that balloon comes over, it's going to be able to take it out quickly, or the baby dragon. So let's see how that plays out. This one wasn't too much of a deal breaker for me, but overall, folks, man, like the witch, like come on, she's just like gotten even stronger. The Ram Rider, I don't want to say RIP. Don't type F in the comments yet. Still gonna be a good card, but it's gonna be different. She did get nerfed, and this was a hard one. The Giant Skeleton buff is insane. I don't understand why it happened. Giant Skeleton has become meta, for sure. So for those of you that play Bridge Spam, or for those of you that play the Golem Beatdown decks that love to stack, you're going to be in some trouble, because that Giant Skeleton is going to really kill momentums big time. Bandit reduction, like I said earlier, it makes a difference. And the Goblin Hut, I don't know, I'm like neutral on this change. So, you know, let me know in the comment section, folks, what you guys think about the balance changes. And also, we got the April update right around the corner. We need something fresh in the game. We need something that's going to revitalize the ladder. And it's reached a crucial point, man. Clash Royale has to do something. I love this game too much to just see it going through what it's going through, you know? Yes, the game still has popularity. Yes, it's a attractive event for CRL, esports organizations, tournaments. But as far as the community, it's become 50-50, man. A lot of players are quitting. A lot of players are anticipating the April update. And a lot of content creators forget about it. There are not that many of us doing Clash Royale anymore. I take pride in still doing it because of my passion for it. But if this April update isn't on point, folks, there's going to be a little bit more variety on the channel. Let's just say that. All right. So I appreciate all the support always. Please drop comments down below. I want to talk to you guys. I originally wanted to do a live stream for this video, but I kind of figured let me just get my emotions out first and talk to you guys through the comments. And then we can follow up with a stream during the weekend. All right. So again, appreciate the support. Peace out.